Hello, and welcome back to Jenna Gets Creative. Thank you so much to everyone who has already watched my goals and plans for 2019 video and left comments with your opinions and suggestions. If you haven't done that yet, I'll link the video in the iCard right now. I think we'll make the start of my facecam intros and outros a subscriber goal. That seems to be the feedback I'm getting. The first video I edit after this channel reaches 250 subscribers will be my official face reveal. I hope everyone had a great holiday season, and I hope your new year is starting off well. It's 2019 already. Did 2018 go fast for anyone else? You already know what my goals and plans are for this year, but I want to hear from you. Do you make resolutions? What are you hoping to accomplish this year? Leave a comment down below. In today's video, I'll be talking about my art favorites of 2018. The piece you're watching right now was another Project Olive Branch gift. This butterfly crown turns into a bit of a 3D art project at the end, because the ink smudged and I decided to fix it by cutting it out. And I like how it turned out. This isn't how I intended to do my first true 3D art project on this channel, though. I do have plans for a 3D art piece in the works. On to the favorites. I'm going to break this down into categories. First up, pencils. In terms of drawing pencils, my favorite has always been the Mars Lumograph pencils, and it still is. I find myself reaching for the 2H pencil the most, and I actually got a dozen new 2H pencils for Christmas, so I'm set for a few years now. For colored pencils, I was a big fan of Prismacolor for a very long time. I got my first set when I was a teenager, and I've loved them ever since. But when I bought a new set of Premiers just after Christmas last year, I found out for myself what a lot of pencil artists here on YouTube already knew. Production quality has gone way, way down. They're still the same vibrant, smooth, creamy leads I'm used to, but they break far too easy. They don't hold a point at all. The wood casings often come cracked, and off-center leads are becoming far too common. So this year, I finally started to branch out and explore other brands. I've tried several different lines of pencils from Derwent, Faber-Castell, Joseph Hartmut, and others, and although I do love my Derwents, especially the Inktense, Faber-Castell has come out the clear winner. The Goldfaber line is my new favorite for small and quick projects, and the Polychromos is my new favorite for my more ambitious pieces and pieces requiring super fine detail. Thankfully, my family has come through this Christmas and made it possible for me to get full sets. My wonderful husband gave me the full set of Goldfabers, and I pooled together the cash and gift cards from other family members and placed an order for the full 120 set of Polychromos. In addition to that, I've been told that the Canson Luminance White pencil is far superior to the Polychromos White, so I went ahead and ordered one from Jackson's in the UK. Pro tip for my fellow Canadians who don't live close to the Concordia University Art Store, Jackson's will ship a small number of open stock pencils as international letter mail for under $2 shipping cost. If you only need a couple, don't get dinged on shipping from the American stores. On to watercolors. In terms of watercolor pencils, I'm not overly impressed with any traditional watercolor pencils I've found, but I do like Derwent's Inktense and Graphitint lines. In terms of watercolor paints, Kuretake Gansai Tambi are the winner for me. They are so vibrant and so easy to use. They don't need to be sprayed down and left to soften before use, and although you can water them down to get the transparency of traditional Western watercolor paints, used straight from the pan, you get much more opaque layers similar to gouache. honorable mention from the other paints I've tried in the last year goes to the Sakura Koi and Derwent Inktense pan sets. Markers. Although Copics are pretty much everyone's favorite, I also wanted to shine a bit of spotlight on the Winsor Newton Brushmarkers and Promarkers and the Spectra AD markers by Chartpak, which are the same as the Blick Studio Brushmarkers. These are all excellent alcohol-based markers with brush nib options, and for the most part, they play nicely together. The Blick Studio line even carries ink refills, and both alternatives are significantly cheaper than Copic if you look in the right places. All of that said, my fellow Canadians, if you want to avoid possible large tariffs at the border, Curry's is my personal favorite Canadian supplier for ordering all three brands, and they offer free shipping on orders of $75 or more before tax. Not sponsored. Paintbrushes. For traditional paintbrushes, my favorites have proved to be the Winsor Newton and Opus house brand brushes that I bought over a decade ago and still use. I also really like the black gold flat brush that came in the October sketch box, and I'll be keeping my eye out for that brand when I buy more brushes in the future. For waterbrush pens, I find I don't like any of the knockoffs of the blue Pentel brushes. My favorites are the longer clear-barreled brush pens, similar to the red detailed ones sold by Arteza. Mine are branded Magic Fly, but if you look for them on Amazon, you'll see the exact same brushes branded as Lanikia, Lightwish, Happy Hours, Kuka, and several dozen other brand names. They hold more water, they're easier to control, and they come in a larger range of brush shapes and sizes. For fine liners, although the Sakura Micron pens are indeed excellent, I've tried a whole lot of different brands this year, and the Mighty Micron is not my favorite. For use with Copics and other alcohol-based markers, the crown goes to Copic Multiliners. For all other uses, my go-to favorite is the Staedtler Pigment Liner. Honorable mentions from cheaper lines go to the For Drawing by Marvi Uchida and the STA or STA Pigment Liners. Paper. The absolute best all-purpose art paper I have found this year is Canson XL Mixed Media. If I'm not using markers or heavy washes of watercolor, you can pretty much just assume that I'm using Canson XL Mixed Media paper. For watercolor, my favorites are B Paper Company 100% rag cotton paper and Strathmore Vision watercolor paper. The B Paper Company paper comes in pre-cut A5 sheets and has a rougher tooth, while the Strathmore Vision paper is smoother and comes in pads in several different sizes. I usually get the 9x12 pads and then cut it down if I want something smaller. In terms of sketchbooks, I love the Stillman and Byrne Beta series for mixed media, and my usual travel sketchbook for pencil and ink is the Pentalic Traveler 4x6 sketchbook. I also use a lot of tracing paper, getting my sketches cleaned up and transferred to my good paper for the final piece, and while any tracing paper will do, I prefer Canson. It's thinner and more transparent than most, and it doesn't have that wax paper feel that the Daler Rowney and dollar store pads have. Last but not least, let's talk about paper for alcohol markers. I've tried lots of different coated and uncoated marker papers this year, including every option Copic puts out, and my favorite of all of those is the basic thin coated marker paper that comes in pads branded either Copic or Transotype. They're the same thing. If I want thicker paper rather than spend a bunch of money on Copic's coated blending card, my usual go-to is the plain old heavyweight cardstock. So that about wraps it up. What were your favorite art supplies this past year? Have you tried any of the items on my list? Leave a comment down below. I love reading your comments and I do my best to reply to everyone. If you're new here, please do subscribe and ring that bell for notifications. I upload every Tuesday and Thursday with occasional bonus videos. I'm an art channel, so most of my content is time-lapse art projects like this, but I also do crafts, tutorials, and art-related product reviews. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the end card. You made it to the end of the video! Don't forget to hit like, leave a comment, and if you haven't already, hit subscribe and ring that bell. I upload every Tuesday and Thursday, and I feature artists and crafters in my end card. Use the hashtag LookJennaYT. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye guys!